Good morning to you, and welcome back to today's JRPG Weekly Update. I've got a lot of indie news today, filling in today's show, but before we get into that, I'd like to remind everyone that you have until Monday to enter in to win the Nintendo Switch Collector's Edition of Trails Through Daybreak. Details about the giveaway can be found in the video that I'll have linked in the comments down below. Let's kick off this indie corner right with what appears to be a Parasite Eve spiritual successor. It comes from the team behind Valhalla and appears to be a PlayStation 1 inspired throwback survival horror RPG along the lines of Parasite Eve, complete with the iconic combat system. The game is now listed up on Steam, so feel free to wishlist the game after today's show, and I'll let you know once we know more about the expected launch date and other platforms, but until then, this is unfortunately all that we know. But we do also have a Game Boy Advance style indie action RPG called Tako no Himitsu, which has entered into Kickstarter with a playable demo. The game was funded in its first 3 days, and now they're aiming for some stretch goals with 3 whole more weeks left to go. So this comes from the developers of Save Me, Mr. Tako. Tako no Himitsu Ocean of Secrets is a new action RPG in a world consumed by the shadows of its past. This is what I would call a visually stunning and accurately achieved visual aesthetic of the Game Boy Advance, right down to its vaguely pastel palette colors that are used throughout the trailer at least, and presumably throughout the rest of the game. And also the black outlines around each of the sprite kind of gives it that boost of contrast, the kind of thing you might need if you didn't have a backlit screen, for instance, just like a Game Boy Advance game. Now currently this is only announced for Steam, but perhaps some of those Kickstarter stretch goals might include a console release. I don't know, you might want to check it out to learn more. Now, following that, from Arc System Works, we've got a new entry in the Kunio-kun series of beat-em-up RPGs, River City Saga: The Three Kingdoms. This one's coming from the developer. They said, in River City Saga: The Three Kingdoms, we had our beloved hero Kunio as Guan Yu wander throughout the warring states of feudal China. The story picks up in the aftermath of the Battle of the Red Cliffs and continues on until it reaches its historical climax at the Battle of Huajiang Plains. With a total of 100 unique River City characters, the story will not end without a crazy comic twist. And I believe it, because the trailer showcases what I can only describe as a NES-style beat-em-up with modern-day Dynasty Warrior-style hordes of enemies, anachronistic humor like running down enemies with tricked-out motorbikes, and a feudal-era story that's just was not expecting to see ever be told by Kunio-kun. So you can expect this title to drop onto Steam and the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 on November 7th of this year. From Inti Creates, we have a new 2D action-adventure title called Divine Dynamo Flamefrit. This pixel art action RPG inspired by classic games and anime, in which you'll be playing as the hero Yuto in top-down slashing adventure stages and pilot the magical robot Flamefrit for first-person boss battles. Master both styles of gameplay to restore peace to the parallel world of Hologard. Originally, this was released as a trailer or a teaser as an April Fool's joke, but turns out this was actually in development the whole time. During that April Fool's episode of Hit Point, Baku and I talked about how it kind of looked like it was actually probably being made. Turns out we weren't April Fools after all. Tune into more Hit Point for more wild predictions that occasionally turn out to be true. And if pixels aren't really your thing, well, I'm not sure how you made it this far, but hey, you have persevered, and that has finally paid off. Well done and congratulations. Here are some polygons as a reward. Homura Hime is also inspired by Japanese anime and aims to perfectly recreate the rich and varied art direction and expressiveness of the genre, and does so in a 3D action game where you can dodge enemy barrages from all directions and engage in tense, exhilarating combat, from the developer, they say. The game appears to be a pretty cool looking action-based RPG with some bullet hell inspired boss fights. Might not be an RPG, but honestly it looked cool enough that I wanted to talk about it anyway, so go check it out. Currently the game is announced for Steam only with a release date of soon, so be sure to plan accordingly, I guess. Now, let's keep those polygons coming along with that asterisk of might not actually be an RPG, because now we're taking a look at what I could only describe as Skyward Sword and Dragon Quest Builders had a baby, and it's called Overthrown. And honestly, this one hasn't really got me all that excited just yet. It feels just, like visually there's something missing that's keeping the world from looking finished, though the character moveset does look pretty interesting. It shows the player making and placing buildings. What can you do with those buildings, though? It's not really made that clear yet. I hope we can learn more before the game's launch sometime this year, according to Steam. It's coming to PlayStation 5 and the Xbox consoles and also Steam, so be sure to check it out. You know what? Let's go back to pixels after all. Chrono Sword is a self-described somber, sort of Souls-like action RPG centered around unique concepts surrounding time travel. The trailer showcases some character concepts and some animated pixel art environments that kind of steal the show in my opinion. The impeccable isometric look inspires hope that this will be a unique take on the pixel art Soulsborne titles, but with the teaser not showing off any gameplay just yet, we'll just kind of have to wait and see. The game is expected to launch this year for all major platforms. Now I got a question for you guys. Do you like Metroidvanias and have a PlayStation 5? If so, this one might pique your interest. We have Koumajou, Remilia, Scarlet Symphony. This is a game that was released on Steam back in 2022, but is coming now to PlayStation 5. Look forward to getting your hands on this title on August 8th. And we have another Metroidvania that appears to be a subtle nod to the good old games from the good old days of 19XX. The game is called Good Old Days and bears an art style that, to my eye, looks like a nod to Mother 3, but maybe that's just me. Honestly, it's a beautiful looking pixel art RPG that appears to have some sort of clock-based mechanics. As you can see that on screen there's this timer, this playtime counter that seems to be counting upwards. I don't know, it looks neat. Check out Good Old Days, it's coming soon to Steam. And before we dive into community news, I just wanted to take a moment to say, dang, I've been on a roll lately. Not only did I do a first impressions and unboxing of Trails Through Daybreak that I'm giving away, but I've also put together a top 10 of RPGs under 20 hours. In case you missed it, go check it out, because if that won't inspire you to beat some incredible RPGs on your lunch break, I really don't know what will. In that video, I actually did notice a comment that came up that sparked a discussion that I wanted to hear from you about in the comments down below. What kinds of challenges do you face when it comes to playing RPGs? Let's get a dialogue going here, and I'll see if I can start one on the Discord as well, and maybe in a follow-up video I'll be talking about those challenges and maybe even some solutions. But until then, I believe that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.